Guys, Liverpool losing 3-0 to Nottingham Forest at Anfield, and Manchester City losing 2-1 to Newcastle at the St. James Park, and Barcelona, of course, my personal club, winning 4-0 at the new Spotify Camp Nou versus Athletic Bilbao. It was a great Saturday, okay? Football is back, but we're going to talk about each of those matches separately. But let's start with Liverpool, first of all. Guys, Liverpool's situation right now is starting to go from bad to worse to even more worse and even more worse. Like, this is unimaginable, first of all. This time, I don't know, you know what? I don't know what's the problem. I really don't know. Because last season, I remember that Arne Slot, of course, it was his first season with Liverpool. He won the Premier League, okay? With you know, being top flight in the Premier League, of course, and then winning it. And of course, Mohamed Salah. He was the top goal scorer from last season, the top scorer in the Premier League, okay? The top assist provider in the Premier League from last season. This season, he's nowhere to be seen, okay? And even Liverpool is now nowhere to be seen because they're sitting 11th in the Premier League table. And this is unimaginable because it's the same coach from last season. It's almost the same team. Of course, there are even big signings that were made this season. Okay, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, Alexander Isak. So all these signings and still nothing. Like it's unimaginable. It has become a very much, dominant kind of team. It should be that way, but it's not that way. So I don't know what's the problem right now. I really don't know. Because if it was the coach, then why did it work for last season and it's not working for this season? Okay? Maybe the reason might be that the two key players of Liverpool, Luis Diaz and Trent Alexander-Arnold, left the club. But I don't think that that's a very strong reason to support the downfall of Liverpool in this season. Like, it's unimaginable. And why didn't it happen from the first match day? Because in the first match day until the fifth match day, they won every single game. They were on the top. After that, things started to change, of course. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's the problem. The match yesterday just identified this team, this Liverpool team. It identified the team that it doesn't matter if Liverpool goes away or plays at home, it's going to lose. Like, can you imagine the Nottingham Forest? I didn't watch the match, by the way. I was watching Barcelona versus Athletic Bilbao. I didn't watch the match, but I had to say this in this video. Liverpool had a possession of 75 and Nottingham Forest of 25. Like, can you imagine 25 possession? Okay? And Liverpool had 21 shots, 4 on target. Nottingham Forest had 15 shots, 7 on target. Now, I think that I understand what's the problem here. Okay, after watching these stats. Liverpool's defense is crappy. It's literally crap. Van Dijk I don't know what he's doing this season. That's the reality, okay? I'm giving you guys the reality. Liverpool, I think that all those signings they made, I think that they really needed a defender, a central defender who's going to help Van Dijk effectively, because Konate is not that good this season, guys. We have to face it. Liverpool's defense is not good. Okay, even the first 5 games, they were conceding goals. They were, okay? At St. James Park, they conceded goals. In the first match versus Bournemouth, they also conceded goals. So the defense of Liverpool was a problem, okay? So Liverpool, because it was a team that if you score, and they also are going to score. But right now, it's only conceding. It's not scoring. Because Mohamed Salah is nowhere to be seen. All that talent that was supposed to be there, Ekitike, Isak is also nowhere to be seen. Florian Wirtz hasn't found his foot yet at Liverpool. Okay? So it's a nightmare, of course, for Liverpool. And of course, as I said, they needed a defender. A defender was needed, guys. This stat right here, 25 possession of Nottingham Forest, and they still won 3-0. This means that every single time Nottingham Forest were getting the ball, they were coming for it. They were going for it, okay? And they were winning. They were putting shots in, and they won the game. That's what was happening. But Liverpool is 11th in the table right now, which is very bad news for the Liverpool fans. But of course, let's now talk about a little bit of Manchester City, and then we'll come to Barcelona. Manchester City, guys. Manchester City yesterday played with Newcastle at St. James Park, which is also one of the most heated stadiums on Europe, on the Premier League, not Europe. We can say on Europe even. But Anfield, you know what? Anfield and St. James Park, these two stadiums I think that they're like more, crowded, and there's a lot of noise in these stadiums. Manchester City played them. They lost 2-1. Eddie Howe's first ever win versus Pep Guardiola's Manchester City came yesterday. All thanks to Harvey Barnes. I watched this match. I watched it. Okay? It was a very good match. Like a very good match. Like, it was the match which I would expect at the St. James Park. And it was exactly that. 67 possession of Manchester City. Newcastle with a possession of 33. Okay? 10 shots, 5 on target from Newcastle. And 17 shots, 4 on target from Manchester City. Now, I have to say one thing. This match could have been a very high-scoring match. Okay? There were huge chances that were being missed by both teams. In the first half, I remember, Woltemade, in the whole match, had 3 big chances, I remember. But in the first half, he had 2 big chances to give Newcastle the lead. Because in the first half, it was like Manchester City were playing the possession and, trying to create chances and put shots in. Newcastle were parking the bus. But whenever they got the ball, they were pretty dangerous when they were coming forward. And that's when these chances started to come. Like in the first half, there were 3 chances for Newcastle. 1 for Harvey Barnes, 2 for Woltemade. So it could have, and all of them were open goals, only the keeper, okay? But Donnarumma showed his class in the first half. And the second half, of course, in the 63rd minute, Barnes broke the dreadlock and, of course, made 1-0 to Newcastle. And then Ruben Diaz made it 1-1 in the 68th minute. And then Harvey Barnes again in the 70th minute gave Newcastle their second lead, which was the game-winning goal for Newcastle. And the first ever win for Eddie Howe versus Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. This was a very good game, guys. But it could have been a very high-scoring game. Now, there's one thing that we need to see. This doesn't mean that Manchester City is still not ready. I still think that Manchester City, it could be a big competitor for the title. Liverpool is not anymore, okay? I can say this even right now. It's not going to be a competitor. This time it's Arsenal, Manchester City, and if anyone else climbs up on top, it's not Sunderland for sure. But if anyone climbs up on top, then okay, they're going to be a competitor. But Manchester City have lost against Newcastle. I think that this has happened after I don't know how long, but it has happened now, okay? But now, guys, let's talk about Barcelona. Barcelona, guys, we played a very good game. Very, very good game, okay? 4-0 versus Athletic Bilbao, which is something that I would expect from Barcelona. Of course, they had a red card, but that didn't matter. We kept a possession of freaking 68%, and then they kept a possession of 32. We had 19 shots, 7 on target. They had 13 shots, 2 on target. And, of course, Lewandowski with the first ever goal in this new Spotify Camp Nou in the 4th minute. And then Ferran Torres in the 43rd minute. And a beautiful assist from Lamine Yamal. I have to say, that was a great assist. Okay? That dude just knows how to pass the ball like that in a Trivela fashion. And he did it yesterday. In the 48th minute, of course, Fermin Lopez. And we have to say something about Fermin Lopez, bro. You know what? Dani Olmo is a good player. I'm not complaining. But in terms of Barcelona, the way they play, I think that Fermin Lopez is the best number 10 that we have in the team. And if he plays, he's going to create chances. He's going to shoot. He's going to score, So I think that this is the perfect number 10 that we need to start in every single game. And then, of course, Ferran Torres again in the 90th minute. And another assist from Lamine Yamal. So it was a great game, the first game at the new Spotify Camp Nou. But you know what, guys? This doesn't mean that we are not gonna lose any games. Of course, it all comes back to the high line. Okay, it all comes back to that. Because we were losing a lot of games this season because of the high line. And we could still lose. Yesterday, it just worked very well. That's why we won. But if, and of course, how can I forget this? Joan Garcia, guys, is back. My favorite goalkeeper of Barcelona right now is him. Okay? I remember in the first games of the first games of the season, Joan Garcia was saving us. He had so many clean sheets in the first games. Okay? And he's back with a clean sheet performance in his first game coming back for Barcelona. I'm so glad he's back. So now even if the opponents, they break the high line, if they shoot, I know that there's Joan Garcia. I just need to close my eyes and, he's going to save the ball. Because that's what was happening in the first games. They were breaking the high line, but Joan Garcia was not allowing the goals. And yesterday, even that happened a couple of times. So I'm very happy for Joan Garcia to be back. But guys, football is back. I mean, the first Saturday, my goodness, was a thriller. Liverpool losing 3-0. Manchester City losing 2-1. Me winning 4-0, so that's good. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like this video, and I'll see you on the next video.